We'll move on now to our old business section. The first item is CHC donation and lease agreement. This is an action item. Mr. Cruz.
Thank you, President Pratt and members of the board. We studied this item at our last board meeting, but I'll do a quick overview of the background related to it again. First, I just want to begin by stating our motto in our school district is where education is a community effort. And part of that is opening our schools to their community. We have a long history of that practice. For many, many years, we were a one school district, and that school also served as a center for, as a gathering place for our community that was used by groups well beyond just the purpose of educating children during the day. As we now have over 20 schools, we have a very strong history and practice of opening our schools to community groups for usage, usually in exchange for some kind of nominal rental agreement. And in some cases, we have schools that actually have designated community rooms that were built with the purpose of community gets to use those spaces first, and then schools can use them second. And that came about as part of the school design process because of the need and desire of that community to connect, that particular local community to connect with that school. In fact, we have those community rooms at Sycamore and Corona Foothills, Copper Ridge, and Rincon Vista Middle School. There's a wide variety from sports teams to scouts, to other to theater groups, to music groups, to people coming in and providing tutoring and all kinds of things to our students and young people. We also have a long history of our space being utilized and renting to churches. For many, many years, they're the only physical church building of 425 square miles was the Shrine of Santa Rita. And there was no other place. And so for churches to get a toehold, so to speak, they rent space from us. I believe we have at least 9 churches that are renting from us currently, generally on a Sunday, but they also they rent space from us during evenings for a variety of events. So all of those things go to say, as background to this particular item, because it's a bit unique. This is an agreement that we're working on with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the donation lease agreement referred to as CHC, to do a donation of the cost to build a classroom space that would be owned by the school district, and then leased back to CHC for the purpose of release time seminary for their programs during Monday through Friday daytime from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then which the school district can utilize that space for other community events on weekends and evenings beyond that time period. The Release Time Seminary is a program by the LDS Church or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that is a national program. Locally, there are that I'm aware of, and others may be aware of other ones, but most recently at Marana High School, Marana School District entered into a similar agreement. Theirs was a little bit different. Rather than doing a donation and a lease back, the school district did a ground lease, and then the LDS Church came in and built a building. They own that building, but it's a long-term lease with the school district for the ground lease. In our conversations with the church, we preferred to be able to own the building itself and have that be district property. Frankly, no different than what we have at, I would say, the the Corona Foothills Sycamore space, and then with its primary usage being for a designated community group. So that's the agreement that's in front of you for consideration tonight. It's been thoroughly gone through by our legal counsel and the council of the church as well, to make sure that all proper laws are being followed, including those of the church, separation of church and state. And it would include a 10-year lease, which is the longest that we can enter into as a school district, with the clause that there be a second 10-year lease option at the conclusion of the first lease. At the end of that 20-year time period, unless a future school board and future superintendent determine that they want to enter into that, the building would simply be owned outright and be able to be used as the school district chooses. So it's a really, in my estimation, a win-win proposition. We have a large number of students who participate in the lease time seminary or in seminary classes, but are not able to do that in the lease time component. They have to do that in the morning, very early in the morning. This will allow them to build that into their schedule at Cienega High School and make it a more normal part of their day by simply having one of their class periods be a free period, at which time they go to the seminary class. So anyway, bottom line, this fits well with our mission. It comes at no cost to the school district to be able to execute this. And at the end, the school district would own a new asset. The lease agreement, it does bind us to a 10-year lease agreement with an extension of another 10 years. And further, we will collect some rental rate to cover the costs of utilities and internet, cleaning, and repair, and those kinds of things. So the district will not be out of funds to be able to maintain that facility during the time period of the lease. So with that, I'll just go ahead and make the recommendation that the Vail School District Governing Board approve the CHC donation and lease agreement as presented.
You all accept a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Foster, have a second? Mrs. Tippett? Comments or questions? Ms. Tippett?
I just appreciate the opportunity to have our legal counsel heavy on the representation and make sure that we dotted all the I's and crossed all of the T's and had the chance to sit with them and ask them our questions as well. And I'm looking forward to this opportunity for Vail students, essentially.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Ms. Anderson?
President Burris, I'm here as I think he's waiting to hear, but just thank you. Thank you for the donation, and look forward to the kids having this program available.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? I want to recognize Mr. Jerry Wood, Kim Middleton, and John Ruth, just for all your work on this. I know that this has been a project that's been in the works in some manner for many years, and I know it's been a project that's taken some time just to be able to figure out what's feasible. So thank you for your work on that, and I appreciate the donation on the church's side. I think it'll be a great blessing for the district to be able to own this asset, and then for students to be able to participate in the program if they choose. And I know this has been studied, and we've also reviewed it with legal counsel as well.
Thank you, President Pratt. It's probably a little sterile in my recitation of the background. I do want to just acknowledge the significant contribution from the church in regard to making this happen. And frankly, the vote of trust on both sides to say, hey, this may appear to be some risk to do this kind of thing, but we trust each other to be able to execute this in really what is going to benefit children and families in our community, which is fundamentally why our mission statement and our motto are what they are. That's what we do. We all have a common, whether it's the LDS church or other churches, school district. We have the massive Venn diagram overlap is our mission to help build and foster strong families in our community. And so I'm just appreciative of the willingness to enter into this kind of a partnership and frankly trust each other to be able to do that. So.
Very well stated. Thank you. If there's no other comments or questions, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor may signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We'll move on to our second item.